You're watching Property Tribes TV, where I'm delighted to be joined by the sponsor of the HMO Tribe, and that is Steve Bolton, landlord and founder of Platinum Property Partners. So welcome, Steve.
Hi, Ree.
Now, we've just been having a little meeting, but I thought it'd be great to catch up with you and just get your reaction to some property news that's been coming out over the last few days.
Yep.
Obviously, the events unfolding in Cyprus, absolutely unprecedented, but could be good for property as people see it as a safe haven.
Absolutely. I think the the chaos that we've seen in the financial sector over the last sort of 5 years, it's a bit of a surprise, came out of the blue, and I think most people are thinking, where's the next surprise going to come from? And we've certainly seen a flight to safety of people holding more money in cash and actually investing in property as well, because they see it as a safe haven. Absolutely.
Now, also some other interesting news that has come out in the last day or two is the increase in rates for rooms.
Sure. Yeah, the Spare Room, one of the biggest room rental websites in the UK for both landlords and for tenants, have shown a 7% increase in rental costs for tenants renting on a room-by-room basis in the last 12 months, which we can confirm up and down. We're active in 95 towns and cities up and down the UK. And we are seeing rents increasing month on month, year on year, and you almost kind of ask where, it's got to stop at some point, but with generation rent, shortage of housing, there's so many barriers to entry now for people offering quality accommodation for young people, Article 4 directions, big deposits being needed. It's a really sophisticated strategy. I think you know this as well as I do. There's lots of people talk about HMOs, they're great for cash flow, houses in multiple occupation, but actually to do it properly is a sophisticated professional strategy. You need funding, you need information, and actually great market if you know how to make it work, but do you know how to make it work? Exactly,
and that's where we can talk about what's happening for PPP, because you have had a very successful quarter. Tell us what's been going on.
Yeah, we've in the last quarter we purchased, our franchise partners have completed on over £9 million worth of properties, so the model's continuing to be robust, continuing to increase in profitability. I was actually with 4 of our partners yesterday, who are from London and home counties regions, and these guys are showing figures, net profit figures on a portfolio of just 4 or 5 PPP houses, and making between £60,000 and £80,000 a year net profit from that kind of portfolio. And our gross yields are in excess of sort of 13%. The net yields are hovering around the 10-11% mark. So we're continuing to achieve market leading rental income and buying lots and lots of property, which is great.
And what do you think are the factors that are enabling your franchise partners to do that? Because obviously they get so much support from you, you have systems in place, you've been there, done that, and got the t-shirt yourself. Yeah. What are the things behind powering that success? I think all of those things you've just said, combined with people with the right attitude, with a level of funding that they can actually afford deposits and cost of refurbishment and joining the business in the first place. And so we're looking at people that are taking it seriously, that have got some funding behind them. It's not a get-rich-quick scheme, but it's a robust, tried and tested model. And the support that we're offering, we've got 2 chartered town planners, we have regional coaches, business development managers, 12 workshops a year, loads and loads of support. And literally, we come from a position that any question or problem or challenge that somebody has, we need a person, a system or some information to help them solve that. And I think, touch wood, we're continuing to deliver, which is great. So in your sort of finally really, the future for HMOs that are set up correctly and managed correctly, the future is bright. Yeah, the future is very bright. I think the one thing for people to be aware of is that we are seeing capital values increase, not nationwide, but London and home counties. Depends on the figures that you read. Every index is different, but the average kind of index for London and home counties last year was between a 6 and 8% increase in capital values. And what we're finding is houses we were buying for maybe 250,000 in some of those areas 2 years ago, you're now having to pay 300,000 or 320. So there will come a point in time, I don't think it's anywhere in the next 5 years, but in the next 5, 10, 15 years, if capital values increase again,
and rents don't keep pace, then actually there's going to be less and less areas where this type of model, if you're starting out in 5 years' time, will actually be viable. So I think we've got a great window of opportunity for probably the next 5 to 10 years where lots of areas work, you can make great rental income, but if you wait sort of 10 years and you probably will miss the boat in some of those areas.
But just to summarise, is there any area in the UK you have found that your system for HMO wouldn't work?
There are about 20 towns, cities or London boroughs where the model doesn't work. I'm not going to kind of list them now, but Cardiff, for example, is relatively high property prices and relatively low rental income. It still works, but it's lower in terms of profitability. And I think one of the benefits with us and with others is you can benchmark against what different regions are actually achieving. And certainly in London, a lot of people don't think it'll work in London. It doesn't work probably in 95% of locations. You can't do what we do in Chelsea or Mayfair or whatever. You tend to be looking at Greater London, little hotspots of half a mile kind of radius where the model works. But there are 20 no-go zones, and it's really important to know before you buy anything whether you're in one of those places.
Absolutely. Well, thank you very much for sharing that with us, Steve. It's been great having you on Property Tribes TV, and thank you for being our sponsor of the HMO Tribe, because it's sponsors like you that enable us to keep Property Tribes free for the community to use. So thank you very much for your support.
Thank you. Thanks.